Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, I think our last session, I said next time you see us, we'll be on a plane or in the airport. Unfortunately, although we spent a lot of time on a plane and a lot of time in the airport.
Yes, we did.
But we didn't manage to read, as you can see, very disappointingly. We missed our Friday session with all of you.
And we're barely going to make it Monday because in England.
Well, yeah.
Because I'll upload it as soon as we finish. It's 7:45 here in the US.
Yeah, so in England it's 4 hours difference now. So it's, yeah.
But anyway.
But it's been a very hectic traveling time and experience. We're now in New Vrindavan. We would read outside, but it's been snowing all day, and it's pretty cold.
Cold.
So, but anyway, we're busy teaching and traveling, but we need to read also, keep ourselves buoyant, and so we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 33, text number 11. And it's just going to be kind of shorter reading. We often say that and still go the full length, but we'll try anyway. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay, text 12?
11.
My dear mother, those who are actually transcendentalists certainly follow my instructions as I've given them to you. You may rest assured that if you traverse this path of self-realization perfectly, surely you shall be freed from fearful material contamination and shall ultimately reach me. Mother, persons who are not conversant with this method of devotional service certainly cannot get out of the cycle of birth and death. Purport. Material existence is full of anxiety, and therefore it is fearful. One who gets out of this material existence automatically becomes free from all anxieties and fear. One who follows the path of devotional service enunciated by Lord Kapila is very easily liberated. I think that's a classic line. Material existence is full of anxiety, and therefore it is fearful.
Material, say it again.
Material existence is full of anxiety, and therefore it is fearful. It's true, so much. It's just anxiety at so many different levels. I mean, we were just discussing without to give out too much details about other people's lives, but the anxiety that a parent has with their child, that they contacted us about it, and just stuff that the child is going through, and they've done a 5-6 point bullet plan of how they're going to assist the child, but really it's to relieve their own anxiety in the process, because what the child is going through is not making one feel very good. If that makes sense.
That's my nod at the end. What the child is going through is not making one feel very good.
Yeah, if your child isn't feeling, going through some challenges, it's not going to make you feel happy. You're going to feel anxious and worried and upset. Okay. So oftentimes, like if you get sick, then I'm like, okay, oh my days, now what are we going to do? Okay, what can I, so it's not going to make me, it's going to make me feel anxious. Okay, what do you need? Do you need paracetamol? Do you need a hot cup of tea? Do you need to go and lie down? It's to help you, but it's going to help me as well. Because I'm not like buoyant and happy and, oh yeah, he's not well, but I'm alright. I'm down as well.
What's your point in relation to this verse?
material existence is full of anxiety.
And therefore one becomes fearful. Very good.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. I was thinking how Krishna comes and gives the process by which we can become self-realized and become free from the fearful material contamination and ultimately reach Him. So it's so kind of Krishna, God, on whom we've, for all intents and purposes, turned our backs and gone away from Him in order to enjoy His property, His creation, and forget about Him at best. What to speak of blaspheme Him or declare He doesn't exist, declare He's dead, declare so many things about Him. And still, His nature is that He comes repeatedly, again and again, in all different types of shapes and forms, in order to give an opportunity to those souls who turned their back on Him and left Him, to give them an opportunity to come back to be with Him. I mean, that is real mercy, you know. If only we as living entities were that merciful and forgiving and caring, since we're talking about care a lot these days. Okay, anything else?
I think I said what I was going to say after my reading. Anything else for you?
No. So text 12, Maitreya Uvacha. So all of a sudden, now we've had loads of conversation between Devahuti and Kapila Dev. Now, for the first time in some time, Maitreya Muni is speaking, and we remember, oh, this is a conversation between Vidura and Maitreya, and it's taking place in Badrik Ashram area, and they're discussing all these things. Now the thing is that I'd love at this point to remember, oh yeah, what was that original question that Vidura asked Maitreya, that he explained this whole pastime? I guess we could go back to the beginning of the third canto, because more or less that's where the question was asked. But let's see if it's explained here. Sri Maitreya said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila, after instructing his beloved mother, took permission from her and left his home. His mother having been...
his mission.
His mission, thank you. His mission having been fulfilled. Purport. The mission of the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Kapila was to distribute the transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy, which is full of devotional service. Having imparted that knowledge to his mother, and through his mother to the world, Kapila Dev had no more need to stay at home. So he took permission from his mother and he left. Apparently he left home for spiritual realization, although he had nothing to realize spiritually, because he himself is the person to be spiritually realized. Therefore, this is an example set by the Supreme Personality of Godhead while acting like an ordinary human being, so that others might learn from him. He could, of course, have stayed with his mother, but he indicated there was no need to stay with the family. It is best to remain alone as a brahmachari, sannyasi, or vanaprastha and cultivate Krishna consciousness throughout one's whole life. Those who are unable to remain alone are given license to live in household life with wife and children, not for sense gratification, but cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So it's interesting, and this is, something we were discussing today as part of the devotee care course. We had a debate between the two sides of the community of whether being materially well situated was necessary for development in spiritual life. And here you have almost the same exact thing. that Kapila Dev didn't have to stay. Well, first, he didn't have to leave. I think that's the important point. He didn't have to leave and go somewhere to become spiritually realized because he already was self-realized. I mean, he's God. So he could have stayed at home. But Prabhupada says to set the example, he left. So he acted, because he's an ordinary human, to act like an ordinary human being so others might learn from him. He could, of course, have stayed with his mother, but he indicated that there was no need to stay with the family. It is best to remain alone as a brahmachari, sannyasi, or vanaprastha and cultivate Krishna consciousness throughout one's whole life. Now, of course, a couple of things there. Vanaprasthas aren't alone. They're with their partner. But the idea is that they go to the forest, so they're alone in their, I guess,
Mud hut.
And in their coupledom, they're alone. Yeah, if we were really meant to be alone, why would Srila Prabhupada start the International Society for Krishna Consciousness? He should have started the International Let's Be Alone for Krishna Consciousness. You know what I mean? It seems kind of a little intriguing that the whole idea of Krishna Consciousness is Sangha, an association, yet Prabhupada would make that statement here. And also in many places, of course, brahmacharis in any of our temples worldwide are hardly alone. Most of them are crammed into a facility that, a dormitory type facility where they live at least with, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or more others. And but maybe he means alone as in not with family. I think it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting point because, of course, then Prabhupada says, those who are unable to remain alone are given license to live in household life with wife and children, not for sense gratification, but for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Yes, of course. So, like that, then, one has a license if you can't live alone. But for us, my understanding is that we're all part of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We need the association of devotees. In fact, there's the famous quote from Prabhupada who says that if you think you can be Krishna conscious on your own, you're, what does he say? You're insane. If you think you can be Krishna conscious without the association of devotees, you're insane. So that's pretty powerful. So anyway, I think sometimes
But I think it also refers to alone as in not with non-devotees, and if you really can't hack it, then stay with your wife and kids. No?
If you really can't hack leaving your family.
Yeah,
and being
then
alone.
better be like that. But otherwise alone meaning to be away from people not on the path, and like in the Bhagavad Gita there's explanation of silence, to be silent, and then Prabhupada explains that silent doesn't mean not talking, but it means when you speak, you don't speak nonsense, but you speak about Krishna.
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense. The only thing is that his mother, he just spent how many chapters helping her to become self-realized. So she's certainly not on the mundane platform. So you might say that on the other hand, he should have stayed there to prove the point that if you're living with people who are self-realized, you don't need to go away. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
And I think on that point we'll have to agree to disagree. So maybe we stop there.
Okay.
And we'll pick up again. We'd like to start doing it regularly again, so we're going to try to get stuck in. And we'll pick up again tomorrow. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your patience and tolerance of us. Please remember to like,
comment,
subscribe,
and share.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.